This evening, all of you have gathered here for this new moon Buddha Puja, and it is good from time to time for us to remind ourselves, to recollect the significance of such practice. Many of you might have come to join in this religious service, not truly understanding the real significance of such practice. However, as time goes on, little by little we should try to understand the significance of whatever practices that we do. By coming here to participate in the Buddha Puja, three things you have done. You generate good thoughts, good words, and good bodily actions. The word puja is offering in a reverential manner. We carry out this puja in a collective manner so that each and every one does not have to come to offer individually, but as you line up, it is good as you stand, to stand with mindfulness, with awareness, recollecting the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. For you have come to offer these things. All these things traditionally to offer it to the Buddha. There are different ways of doing this, but in order to instill in our minds, in order to develop some inspiration, we should try to arouse in our minds the thought as if the Buddha is here, as if we are offering these to the Buddha. For during the time of the Buddha, there was this living tradition. When people go to visit the Buddha in the evening like this, people will bring some flowers. People bring drinks, medicinal drinks. This is what we call gilana pacha. Something to support, some medicinal drinks to support the body, to support as an aid to maintain the health. And they bring other things, other requisites for the Buddha and the other disciples. So in this way you see how you carry on this tradition as if the Buddha is here. When you think in this manner, if you can arouse your thoughts to think in this manner, then immediately your mind will be at peace. No matter what problems, no matter what difficulties that you are confronted with, when you participate in an action of this nature, when you arouse your thoughts to have reverence, to think of the great virtues of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, naturally when these good thoughts arises in the mind, then the unwholesome, the restlessness in the mind will begin to cease. You recite those verses in offering. They are those verses to teach us that when we give something, we give with right speech. When we give things to one another, sometimes we just take something and give without saying any word. Sometimes we give to people, but not with right speech. You see how some people offer things, offer drinks, offer food to strangers or even to their relatives and friends, very casual manner. But here we learn to refine our thought, speech and bodily action. We learn to recite certain verses to refine speech and also our bodily action. That is why when you come, you restrain your body. Like now, as just now, from the time you participate in this puja, you stand still and you calm and compose your body with clasped hands, and then you participate. Now you are restraining the fact that you are sitting down, listening without moving, without stretching this way and that way. This is how you restrain your body action as a mark of respect. In fact, the actions that you restrain, your body and the speech, you do not shout and yell as what you like, as you are doing at home, and you calm and compose your bodily actions. These are sila, these are restraint. And when you restrain your body and your speech in this manner, this is how slowly you will be able to compose your mind, because your body can condition your mind. Your mind also condition the body in turn. Of course, until such time you learn to develop the mind and purify this mind so that the mind can eventually have the full control of the body. Until such time, the body still keeps on conditioning the mind. But eventually, we should learn how to develop our mind so that the mind will condition the body, and the mind, there will be mind above matter. So, in fact, this simple practice will help us to overcome unwholesome thoughts, unwholesome speech, and unwholesome actions. And although some of you are coming only new moon and full moon, this is a preparation. This is only a tradition that brings the people together to learn how they should practice, how they should inculcate in their day-to-day life some day-to-day Buddhist practices, because these day-to-day Buddhist practices are very important. Now, those of you who are working, it is good, or those of you who are schooling, it is good for you before you leave home to perform some religious service, to go before the shrine, to have a shrine and altar at home serves a very good purpose, because it is at that very place that you can calm down your minds, you can renew your precepts. By developing these good habits, calming down your mind, you will be able to free your mind from whatever troubles, whatever problems that have taken place at home, so that you do not take these troubles, these worries, these problems to your place of work or to your school. And in that way you will be able to maintain free mind. And in the same manner, when the stress, the problems, the worries that you have in the offices, in schools, that when you come back home, again it is a good practice to go through the religious practice and again to calm down your mind and to release your tension, because by having good thoughts, good speech and good bodily action, we will be able to release naturally the body, the mind will begin to unstress. And this is how we can free our mind from whatever problems that have happened during the day, so that we do not pass it on to the other members of the family. And in this manner we learn little by little, we learn how to overcome, to cut off certain thoughts, stressful thoughts, and we will be able to free the mind and live in peace, in harmony within the family. Peace and harmony is very important. It is important to develop the peace of mind and to live in harmony with our parents, with husband, wife, brothers, sisters, and all the other members of your family, your relatives and friends. And it is this little practice that you do, and when you bring the little children, little ones along, then whatever actions that you do, that they are able to see, they will be able to cultivate. They have this religious tradition. The purpose of such tradition is to transmit, to pass on certain important values of life, again, little by little, from one generation to another. Just as you offer the lights, the incense, the flowers and other things, you can see from these very things that you offer, the light, a symbol of wisdom which dispels the darkness of ignorance. The flowers, a symbol of beauty, a symbol of youth, that when properly contemplated, we can see how, no matter how beautiful, no matter how fresh, how fragrant it is when you offer, when you come back here in 2 or 3 days' time, you will see some of you come back only during full moon and new moon, and you will see the flowers. If we do not clean, if we do not throw these flowers, you will see how they wither away. Then you can contemplate, just as the flowers wither away, so will this body of mine. This is how we contemplate on the reality of existence. And in the same manner, the fragrance of the incense, the perfume smokes that you offer, they remind us of the transiency of life. They can remind us of the transiency, because no matter how fragrant it is, after a little while the fragrance goes away. Even the sound of the bell when you ring can, when we contemplate on the sound, we see the rising and falling. Everything in our life, inside and outside, we can see everything that is of the nature to arise is also of the nature to cease. And this lesson alone will help us to reduce our attachment, to reduce our clinging habit, clinging to things, clinging to body, clinging to our mind too. Just as we learn how to give some material things now, and some of you, when you come to temple, you make a point to donate financially, and there you learn to give some material things, and then you come to know from the notice boards, from various announcements, and from other members of the committee, and that there are certain welfare activities going on, and that you are able to render your assistance in one way or another. Then you give in terms of your service, and then slowly, when you come and you have opportunity to listen to the Dhamma and to straighten your mind, straighten from various kinds of views, certain strange, funny views, or in fact some views that have been crystallized in your minds from birth to birth, some superstitious ideas and beliefs, and particularly with regards to the wrong view, with regards to our life, ourselves, our very existence in this world. We all think that there is something permanent, that there is some entity within this body and within this mind and body, which we always refer to as I and my. And when we cling to this idea, cling to this view of the I and the my, then this gives rise to the feeling of I and my. Every time you are hurt, every time some people may speak some harsh language or insult you, you feel hurt. This feeling, how you feel when you are hurt, it is then you begin to feel the self, your very self being hurt. And when you develop your mind, eventually, little and little, we will be able to see what is it that is hurt, what is it that is disturbed. And when we see the true nature of ourselves, we see that this whole mind and body is nothing but some processes, mental and physical processes that has come together, and it is these processes that we identify as I and my and the self. And it is because of our clinging to this idea of I, my and the self, it has given rise to all kinds of problems. In fact, the root cause of all human problems, of all problems, lies in this idea of self. Selfishness arises from this too. So when we develop and our minds and have opportunity to listen and practice the Dhamma, slowly, little by little, we will be able to give up the wrong views pertaining to the self, the wrong views pertaining to the nature of our life. Everything which is subject to change is subject to unsatisfactoriness. But we cling on to changing things. Things that are unsatisfactory, we say it is good. Even sometimes you laugh, you smile, you are happy with whatever things, pleasant sensation and good news. We laugh, we smile. And how long can we laugh? How long can we smile? And it comes and goes. The fact that it arises and the fact that our laughter does not last, that itself means that that kind of happiness that we experience is unsatisfactory. So when we realize the unsatisfactoriness of worldly happiness, we will realize that there is another kind of happiness which is more lasting, another kind of happiness that is more lasting, that is not so transient. And eventually we will be able to overcome the views. And when we overcome such wrong views and have right views, the right views will help us to understand the law of karma, the law of cause and effect, that we will contemplate and be able to accept the efficacy of our actions. Good or bad actions, whatever we do, we will have to inherit those actions. Good actions gives rise to good results. Unwholesome or bad actions gives rise to unwholesome or bad effect. So, it is just by your regular practice of coming to the temple again and again, this good habit of yours will lead you, little by little, will lead you through the practice of dana, sila, bhavana. These three things around which the whole Buddhist way of life revolves. Dana, giving, generosity, sila, observing precepts, avoiding evil, doing good, and bhavana. This is how we culture the mind. This is how we will be able to purify our mind from the roots of greed by liberality, generosity, purify our minds from hatred by the practice of loving kindness, and purify our minds from delusion, from gross ignorance and confused states of mind by the practice of mindfulness, by the developing of mindfulness, concentration with awareness, and develop insight through the true nature of this life, true nature of our mental and physical processes. In this way, we'll be able to culture and purify the mind and be able to overcome suffering, overcome problems once and for all. And this little practice that we do will help us. Whatever good that you have done, that you are doing, you should try to do it again and again to form the habit, because through having good habit patterns, that good habit patterns will be able to strengthen our mind and help us to overcome the unwholesome habits, the bad habits, so that we can overcome whatever suffering, whatever problems, whatever sicknesses. All our problems, all our sufferings and sicknesses are, in the long run, directly or indirectly, can be attributed to our own thoughts, our own speech, our own bodily action. You can learn a lot of this in the Dhammapada. The Buddha says that if your mind is not properly trained, properly guarded, then whatever harm which your enemy can do to you, your mind can do you greater harm, greater danger. Whatever goodness that your parents, your teachers, or your children can give to you, your mind, if it is well trained, well guarded, that mind can give you greater goodness, greater happiness. Such is the nature of the mind, the importance of the training of your mind, and that is why the Dhammapada opens up with this verse of Mano Pubbangama Dhamma Mano Satta Mano Maya and so on. They are very good, and you all are very fortunate to have this opportunity to be in the vicinity to come again to associate with the Buddhist Vihara. And that is why, even though I am away, I go out here now and then, but I always come back again and again. And because I think this is the source, this is the fountain of many goodness. And when I come back, every time when I go out and I come back, I see some good things have improved, some improvement. And this time, what I'm able to notice is a great thing that all of you have contributed towards is the publication of the Dhammapada, the new version, not version, but it is the new edition. And because the simplicity, I have gone through a few verses, and in many of the books that I have tried to study, and I find that the stories sometimes either too long or too short. But the stories that you find in this book, they are just right for you, I think. Just right for me, and I think it is also just right for you. And it is very good because it comes directly. These are the very utterance of the Buddha collected. And then from this you can read how during the time of the Buddha, when certain incidents takes place, the Buddha directed his mind because of his full awakening, because of his fully enlightened mind. He was able to understand anything whenever he focuses, whenever he puts his mind into that thing, he was able to see very clearly. Even there are some people, when the Buddha was preaching, some people was digging, using their hands, digging the ground, and some people lean on the wall, as if leaning on coconut trees. And actually, when the Buddha preached in the open, actually some people actually sit by the coconut tree to listen. And but the Buddha was able, when the Buddha saw these actions, the Buddha was able, when the Buddha puts his mind, then the Buddha can see how these people acting in these different manners according to their habits, according to the tendencies that they have taken with them in the past. So if you want to know all these stories, you can read, you can get your copy of the Dhammapada and read them. And after reading, you can, this is how you will be able to give Dhamma to the children. Now there are not many mothers today that can tell stories, bedtime stories for the children. So what they do is they play videotape, or they play, in fact, in Malacca they have started, when I went back, I see some goodness, some good things are happening. Everywhere I go, I see more and more good things are happening, and that you all have greater opportunities. I see how in Malacca the youth have got together, and every full moon and new moon day they will stage Jataka stories. In fact, a few nights ago, when I addressed them, when I tried to tell them a story of Sirivani Jataka, that story about the Buddha and Devadatta in their previous lives. And little ones were opening their eyes, oh, we know. I says, how do you know? He says, then all kept quiet. Then I kept on telling. And then after I had told them, then they say, we saw it. So what? We saw the story. And because they have acted the story. And we have a video also. but it's not so clear, but we have, and slowly they are trying to improve the techniques so that they can produce, they can dramatize the Dhamma. And so slowly some of you too can come forward, and this is how you can give Dhamma in these different ways. And it is actually by passing on stories with moral that it will naturally, children will naturally accept moral teachings through stories. So we hope that you will take the trouble. The book is there, it has done, a lot of work has gone into it, so you will take the trouble to make good use of it, and to read, and then to contemplate, and then learn how to pass on, tell those stories. So I hope next time when I come back that I will have opportunity to hear storytelling, from books and to storytelling. Then you try to practice. On my part, after having gone through the Dhammapada, seeing the importance of the training of the mind, on my part, I would like to go for some time to the quietness, and to train, to cultivate this mind. The Buddha has emphasized so much on the training of the mind. So I shall try to verify, and then when I am ready, I will come to tell you. So I hope that you will continue with the good things that you have done, and continue to do good again. When I am ready, I will come to tell you. So I hope that you will continue with the good things that you have done, and continue to do good again and again, and make determination day in, day out, every day. If you can determine that you will avoid a little bad things, some of the bad habits that I have, even just one, to avoid just one bad thing, one bad tendency like greed or hatred, or to free our minds from states of confusion, and to develop the kind of mindfulness and awareness, and so that, and then avoiding evil, doing good, whatever good that we can do, we should do it to the best that we can, so that we do not postpone. Then purify the mind. These three things, if we can do it again and again, and aspire, that we will be able to avoid evil, do good, and purify the mind. In so doing, you'll be able to slowly overcome suffering, and your mind will become stronger. Then whatever problems, you will be able to overcome them. So on this occasion, you have had a lot of patience, and you have generated wholesome karma, good karma, through your thought, through speech, and through bodily action. And therefore, you should calm down your minds and determine, make strong adhisthana, that by the meritorious actions, by the goodness that you have done, may this goodness ripen and help you to overcome whatever problems, whatever difficulties, whatever sicknesses that you are inflicted with, that you will be able to overcome them and pave the way for you to have realized the bliss of Nibbana. And Nibbana Pacayohotu, thinking in this manner, that may we have opportunity to realize the bliss of Nibbana. So we wish you all long and healthy life, that by all your goodness may you have long, healthy life, and may you other members of your family too be well and happy. Good health and peace to all. Dear devotees, the next full moon day falls on July 28th, which is also known as the Estella full moon. And this is the day the Buddha preached the first sermon. And it will be also the day when the monks will be invited to observe the Vassana, or the rainy season retreat. And then on the 27th of August, we will be having the annual blessing service. It will be the whole night, right up to the morning of 28th. And on 28th itself, we'll be having the groundbreaking ceremony for the new building project. Details will be circulated by circular by the end of the month itself. More details will be provided for. Okay, thank you.
Malpahang Puja Krim Buddha Puja Pratim Dharmasya Krim Dham Pirigara Puja Krim Valnadau Sakala Utala Punya Sambhar Dharmyang Hetu Patagan Metan Padang Nivandakna Jai Dakana Rakati Satrapayot Pati Dukha Katakrimaka Lekvat Pavina Divyalok Mansalok Dakhiya Pamanu Sapasampati Mihnyamat Buddhi Vadaranna O Maitre Uttarajanan Hanse Karapavina Unhangse Vidin Desana Karavadarna Sri Saddharma Desana Tataso Anadi Marga Phalapirivaringa Vihutu Sadakala Kutapatutu Avam Hanivang Sampatra Bhagani Vinata Parlo Sapatsi Manyata Mitra Ding Pradhana Me Sami Radama Setua Sanave Vaisita Sadara Dignata Pingan Dangya Yutui